Hi folks, slightly different format of video again here. I just wanted to talk to you a bit more about different kinds of whips and also my journey as a whip maker. So starting on the left here, we have the first stock whip I ever acquired. I bought this a couple of years ago from eBay, and truth be told, as soon as I opened the box, I was disappointed. This is not a very nice whip. I bought it for less than £100, so it kind of falls into that cheap category. First thing I'm pointing out here is kind of the difference in the thickness from the very start to the very tip of the thong. There's not a huge amount of difference. That's going to make the whip hard to use. Also, when I've tried to crack this, you can see about here, this kink in the braiding, that's where the core ends, and then after this is just a piece of rope. So there's little to no taper, and the start here feels very heavy, and then the end of the thong just feels completely lifeless and dead. Makes this not very fun to use, and honestly, because I was so disappointed, I decided I was going to start learning how to make whips properly. So that brings us on to this middle whip. This is the first stock whip that I ever made for myself. It's basically just a stock whip thong on a stick with a bit of lead loading at the very end for balance. But already I would say this is a better whip to the eBay one, just because of the difference in thickness from the start of the thong to the very end. It tapers really nicely, it's going to crack really easily, and honestly it just feels better to use than the eBay whip already. So this was the very first one I ever made, and it kind of got me interested in craft, and I carried it on from there. Now this whip is one of my most latest creations. It's made from genuine kangaroo leather, red and black with fancy patterning in the thong. It's basically the finest one I've done to date. As whip makers, we're always trying to do better, and this whip I hope embodies that. I hope I can always do better than that as well. Just to kind of hammer the point home, the difference in the thickness of the thong to the very tip, significantly more noticeable than the eBay whip, and the finishing point as well is just magnitudes smaller than the eBay whip. So this whip on my right is much nicer to use, and you don't need to muscle it nearly as much, and that's kind of the craft of it that we follow as whip makers, is making a whip that's easy to use and enjoyable, and not just something that you buy for £50 and put in a cupboard because it's a piece of crap, really. So yeah, thank you for watching, and see you later.